All right, Fitzgibbon, it is our You Decide time of the day, and joining me is the one man that is running for office right now that we are all talking about, Jeff Perry, the Republican from Sandwich. Thank you for coming in, my man.
I'm happy to be here, BB.
How's it going?
It's going great. We had a great weekend. It's the energy out there is amazing. Voters are engaged. They're ready. 8 days to send a message to Washington. I'm feeling really good.
Well, here's the message right now, and you've seen it. Let's talk about the press. I got the Globe today. Adrian Walker, answers past due for Perry. They're hitting you again. So let's talk about this a little bit.
They're hitting me. Mr. Keating and the people who support him. 2 negative TV ads, hundreds of thousands of dollars, negative radio ads. I got flyers here saying I'm going to increase taxes, take away Social Security, and then I may actually be the son of the devil himself. They're just hitting hard, all negative campaign, DCCC, the unions, they're hitting me hard every day. They don't want to talk about the issues because every issue that the voters care about this year, job creation, taxes, immigration reform, health care, repealing Obamacare, they're wrong in every issue, so they're running a smear and fear campaign.
Well, character is an issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk. I don't think they think that you're the son of the devil, but the question is, did you cover up for the son of the devil, or did you turn a blind eye to this?
Right.
The issue with Officer Flanagan, and we're going back 19 years now, is either you were a naive cop who trusted a fellow cop and sort of got duped, or you knew full well what he was doing and you were covering for him, cop covering up for cop. And I think a lot of people, Adrian Walker here, for example, aren't comfortable with the answers that you have provided yet. Now, why do we have
the
this
Boston Globe isn't comfortable with my answers?
But I think a lot of people aren't comfortable with this now.
Well, back in 1991, there was a police officer that worked on my shift, and he did some terrible things. And I didn't know he was doing them. And as the victim came forward last week, when she came forward a year later and said those things happened, I believe the officer. Absolutely, I believe the officer. In fact, every officer on the department but one signed a letter saying we believe the officer. We knew him. We knew his family. We thought that he was a good guy. He wasn't. He was terminated. He was fired. He was prosecuted. He went to jail. And he should have. And what he did was despicable. He dishonored the badge. He dishonored me as someone who trusted him. He dishonored the police department. And he committed terrible things. But that wasn't me. If I'd known that he was doing it, I would have stopped him. I would have locked him up. And every other department, every other officer would have done the same thing.
If you had it to do over again, would you have signed that letter of, was it expressing outrage to the captain that he had been fired? Because I think that, for me, the hardest thing to explain is that after he had been fired, obviously the captain thought, look, something's really wrong here. You still signed a letter supporting him when, obviously looking back on it, I would think you would have to say, man, I should have just stayed out of it.
In retrospect, certainly, but we didn't know that at the time. We thought this officer was falsely accused. False allegations come against police officers all the time. And when you work with somebody and you don't have any idea that he's capable of it, and he looks at you and says, I didn't do this, you tend to believe someone that you work with for a number of years. In retrospect, obviously, this guy fooled all of us. He betrayed all of us. He's a bad guy. He was fired and he went to jail. And now, because I'm running for Congress and we're doing really well, they want to do a guilt by association thing on the Flanagan thing. They want to lie about issues because they're wrong on the issues and they can't stand on their own. What's my opponent going to say? I want to go down to Washington. I want to vote for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker. I want to continue with a federal takeover of health care. I want to have a $500 billion cut. I don't want to do anything on immigration. Is he going to say that? No. So he's going to lie about the issues, and he's going to try to do a character assassination. And you guys know this. This is a national strategy from the Democrats all over the country. They're lying about Republicans on issues, and they're doing this smear campaign. People can see it across the country, and this is what's happening in the 10th, and it's not going to work.
One more thing on this, and then we'll get to some of the issues here. But I guess two areas that are sort of concerning to people. One is the visit to the prison.
Yeah.
Again, your story is, or your thing is that you went to tell him, bleep you. Others would say, this is a cop going to a prison saying, hang in there, buddy, is there anything I can do for you? We don't know. So,
well, people are, 19 years later, people can judge this, and they can decide for themselves. They can decide whether or not I would have stopped it if I knew it, and what happened after that. That's not what this race is about, though. And people can make those assumptions. People can do whatever they want. The opponent can push it all they want. I know what's in my heart, that I didn't do anything wrong. I trusted this guy. He betrayed that trust. He betrayed the badge. I needed to go and confront him because he lied to me. I did that, and that's the end of the story.
Last question. If you knew you didn't do anything wrong, why did you resign, what is it, a year and a half before you would have qualified for your pension?
I wanted to do something else. I had this entrepreneurial spirit. I started my own business. Licensed by the state police, a private investigation business, had nothing to do with it. And that's another lie my opponent's telling in his party. I have letters of recommendation from the chief and the captain. When I left, the chief just did a TV ad for me. And something else is pretty telling in this. The people who work for Mr. Keating, the state police, and the people who investigated this case, the Massachusetts State Police, both the troopers and the Superior Officers Association had a decision on who to endorse in this race. They could either endorse the district attorney or they could endorse me. Both of those organizations have endorsed me. I think that says something about back in 1991 and the performance of Mr. Keating as district attorney.
Let's talk about the weekend now. Charlie Baker and you were at an appearance down there. I got two stories on this. I wasn't there, so I want you to tell me. I'll read the top line from the Herald yesterday. I've seen warmer handshakes in divorce court, Peter Gill says. Did you think Charlie was blowing you off?
Absolutely not. I had a nice conversation with Charlie. I don't see the picture there, but the headline.
Yeah, the picture I saw, and I've only seen the
right.
picture, looks like a guy grabbing a guy saying, "Hey, Jeff, nice to see you."
We had a great handshake. We said a few words. He gave my wife a big hug. We had a nice rally, a couple hundred people there. But see, this is the difference. We have a very positive campaign. Hundreds of people showed up to talk about how we're right on the issues, how we want to change Massachusetts and the state. A few people showed up with protesting, and the media buys into it, and the opponents buy into it, and the media wants to make, many people in the media want to make this race, like the Globe, they want to try to do this smear and fear campaign, but the people of the 10th District, they know what's going on here, and they know who's a better candidate for Congress. Where's Mr. Keating? Why doesn't he come into this show? Why doesn't he come on these talk radio shows? Why is he canceling these debates? Why doesn't he come on and answer the questions about his record as a district attorney and how involved he is in this smear campaign? And
I appreciate you coming in and answer the questions. What would be the one question you would ask Mr. Keating if he was here?
I would ask Mr. Keating, why don't you come in? Why don't you debate us on the radio? Why don't you debate us one-on-one? Why don't you answer the question, Mr. Keating? Why do the state police endorse Jeff Perry if he's such a bad guy? Why does the U.S. Chamber endorse Jeff Perry if you're the one right on job creation? Why won't you come out and say if you're going to vote for Nancy Pelosi? He's hiding right now. They're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars trying to lie about the issues and smear my reputation, but he won't come out and go one-on-one.
The Globe poll over the weekend says you're down 4. It's within the margin of error. Is it that tight? Is that what your sense is down
there? Well,
there?
certainly. This election is going to be decided on Election Day in just 8 days. Our internals show that we're up. Theirs shows that it's within the margin of error. I think it's a fair statement to say when you take all the polls, there's been 3 or 4, it looks like a close race, and the voters are going to decide, not this negative campaign of Mr. Keating.
Lastly, I'm way over time, but this is one of the flyers you can see down there on the 10th District. Are you going to raise our taxes by 23%?
No, yeah. I'm going to raise your taxes on everything from shoes to baby formula to child care. I'm across the street 8 years as a state rep. I've never voted for a tax increase. I want to get down there and lower taxes. And this is they quote some blog post in June 25th, which I never wrote. This is just another lie by Mr. Keating and the people support him. And I know the people aren't going to buy it, but that's their strategy. Smear and fear, distract from the issues, and try to confuse the voters.
Jeff Perry, thanks for coming in and answering the questions.
Thank you.
10th District race down in the Cape. We'll see if Mr. Keating comes in. We haven't had that confirmed yet.
All right.
Gino, back to you and Eric.